Okay, I am sharing my screen. So yesterday I have given you a program to solve. Okay, I want you to answer whether the program has been solved or not. I hope my screen is visible. This was the program. Okay. Let me copy this. Okay, this was the problem statement. Okay, already Madhu and Chaitanya has given the answer. Okay, no worries. We will trace the program today. No issues. Keep the answers with you. We will do the comparison after completing the tracing part. Okay. Let me do a small recap. I hope my screen is visible, right? Yes, no? Can someone confirm if my screen is visible? Yes, yes. Okay, okay. Then let's get it started. So let me do a quick recap. So yesterday we were discussing about, we have seen some test cases. So there was like invocation of recursive constructor in Java. So when you are like placing a constructor from your side, right? And if you place this constructor call, right, the constructor is going to get invoked repeatedly. So this process is called as what? Invocation of recursive constructor in Java. You need to avoid this, right? And this is the case 4, and let us begin from the case 1. Where was the case 1? What was the case 1? We have seen for almost 4 cases. Okay, case 1. We know that we are going to get a compilation error if you try to compile this code. Why we get compilation error? You look at this code. I was always telling you about the rules of constructors, especially when you are trying to use the super keyword. I mean the super constructor call. The super constructor call should always occupy the first line inside the constructor. So this is the violation. Okay. Now the super constructor call is placed in the second line, not in the first line. Right? That's why we get error. What error we get? So see, this was the reason why we got the error. The first instruction or the first line or the first statement of a Java constructor should always be either super or this. Okay. If any violation occurs, you get what error? You get the compilation error. You get compilation error. Case 1 and the case 2 says, yeah. So I wantedly used this keyword as well as super keyword. What is the rule that says? The rule says either use this or super. You cannot use both. What happens if you use both at the same time, right? So again there is a violation, right? When you look at the super constructor call, this super constructor call is positioned in the second line of the constructor, second line or the second instruction. It should always be the first instruction. Okay, let me replace this. If I do this, now again if you look at this call, this should always place it in the first line of the constructor. So there is violation for this. So we cannot do this. Is a bottleneck situation. If you ever want to use super or this, you can use them independently, but you cannot use them simultaneously. This is the case 2. That's why we got what? We get compilation error. Why we get compilation error? There can be either super or this call, constructor call, but not both of them. You cannot use both. Any one of them is needed, must be placed in the first line of the constructor. You cannot use both. That's why you cannot use both. Right? And the case 3 says we will this is what something like, okay, this is the case 3. So we are placing this constructor call inside a Java method, and again we are going to get an error because the super constructor call or this constructor call is designed to be placed only in the Java constructors, not in the methods, Java methods. Okay, that's why we get error. So we get the compilation. So this says the super or this constructor call should always be used in the Java constructor, not in the Java methods. Case 3. And we have discussed about the difference between, you know, super versus super constructor call versus super keyword, this constructor call versus this keyword. Okay, and you just go through this once again. So this is the example, typical example that we have gone through. to understand this keyword and the super keyword, right? And after this, and difference between this constructor call or super constructor call, you can read this once again. And the constructor overloading. In the yesterday's class, there were some concerns raised about the constructor overloading. We will see about constructor overloading with one more example, then we will proceed with the program that I have just given. So from this program, all your questions will be answered. Before even continuing, before even proceeding or tracking or tracing this program, I will explain you about constructor overloading once again. So please pay some attention here. Okay, so let me take a class here. Okay, so in the class here, I am going to take two constructors. One is no arg constructor. The second one is like, let me take three constructors. This is no arg. This is an argument constructor. Okay, and one more constructor. Let me take a main method. Public static void main string array. Okay, so the constructor, the definition of the constructor overloading states that when you have a constructor with the same name but different parameters. What does the overloading means? Overloading says that constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. Whenever you keep constructors with the same name but with different argument, with different parameters. We call this as constructor overloading. Very simple. When you have a constructor with the same name but with different parameters, we call this as constructor overloading. For example, if I take myself as an example, I am Balaji. My name is, I am being identified as Balaji, right? But at the same time, when I visit to, visit to the railway station, I will become a traveler. I am a traveler or passenger. So my identity, I am getting a sub identity in the railway station, but the name is going to be same. Name is Balaji, but when I want to do a travel, I become a passenger. So when I go to my work location, I become an employee, right? And when I go to what we call it as any example we can say, when I go to hotel, I become a customer. I am a customer. Right, so my name is, my identity is same, but look at the sub identity. Right? I am a passenger in the railway station. I am an employee in my work location. I am a customer in a restaurant. Identity is same, but the location is defining my sub identity. The place that I am going to, where I am going to, locate myself. That is going to define my sub identity. Likewise, constructor is also a kind of this analogy. If you apply this analogy to the constructor, it is also same. If you have a constructor, you can have the constructor with the same name. Don't you think so? This is a constructor. This is also a constructor. And I can take another constructor. This is also a constructor. But I need to take a sub identity. In our example, the sub identity is I am a passenger, I am an employee depending upon the circumstances, I am a customer depending upon the location that I go. Likewise, okay, when a constructor is having the same name but with different argument types, okay, this is no arg, there are no arguments, but the name is same but no arguments. Name is same but integer argument. Name is same but double argument. This process, this mechanism, this definition, this way of representing or writing a program using constructors is called as what? Constructor overloading. What is the simple answer that you can say? Whenever you keep constructors with the same name but with different parameters, we call this process as constructor overloading, right? So we know what is, now we got to know what is the definition of the constructor overloading. System.out.println. So, but when if I have a requirement to transfer the control to the specific constructor, how it can be done? That is the question. So we have discussed these things already. Just for the clarification purpose, I am explaining this. Okay, this is our constructor. Okay, and let me. This is int.arg. Okay, and let me. This is double arg constructor. So if I want to transfer the control to this constructor, if you want to execute the logic that is placed inside this constructor, how I am supposed to do, right? Create an object obj equal to new a. Okay, so this is the no param constructor. Okay, we are not passing anything. If you don't pass anything, obviously the control will be transferred to this particular constructor. This logic will get executed, but I want to execute this logic. What I'm supposed to do? I need to pass an argument. I need to pass a value of what type? Of double type. Okay, how the double value is represented in Java programming language? Any floating point value, 100.20. Okay, now the control will ensure that, okay, first it will find the matching data type. So this is the value of double data type. Okay, equivalent constructor is found. So this logic will get executed, yes or no? Right, let me save this. Save as a.java. Okay, so let me run this. Command prompt. So as soon as the command prompt is open, I need to change the directory to the place where the Java file is saved, right? So it is in the D directory followed by Java C space. CD space. In the D directory, there is a folder called Java 3. Okay, now the command prompt is pointing to the same directory where the file has been stored. Where the Java file has been saved. Compilation Java C space a.java. Compilation is successful. Okay, then Java C space a. So double arg. So we are able to execute the specific constructor that I wanted to get executed. In this case, I want to execute this. If I want to execute this, what could be the parameter that I can pass here? Tell me, answer me. If I want to execute, if I want to run this logic, if I want to display this in the console, what is the value that I can pass here? Answer me. My question is making sense, I think. Any value, good Chaitanya, 10 I can pass. Any value that is representing integer data type. Matching data type. You can pass any value that should be compatible with the data type that is available in the constructor. Right? So with this logic, don't you think that this will get executed? Integer arrow. Right? So this process is called as constructor overloading. What if I want to execute all this real logic? Now we focus here, pay some attention here. Now I want to execute all the three. So I want to print no arg, int arg, and double arg. Okay. Now let's see the procedure, see the approach that I am choosing. Okay. So this is one of the approaches. Okay. Don't you think that I will be getting the output? Can you guess the output now? Int type. Now you tell me the output. Okay, this is the correct output. No arg, Yeah, no arg, no arg. Yes, good, good, good. Now you are getting this. Okay. Now if you observe one thing, I am able to display all the values in the console. Okay, this process is called as what? The constructor overloading. Making sense, everyone? This is called as constructor overloading. Yes, no, everyone? Darshini? Yeah, so now we already know that if you do not place the super keyword, definitely system is going to, the compiler is going to place the super call. So the super call is going to be the first line of the constructor. Yes or no? You know what I'm trying to do is, I want to write only one code. Here, I want to create object for only one constructor. Upon creating object for one constructor, I want to execute all these three constructors. All these three constructors needs to be invoked. My question is, let me repeat the question. I want to write a logic. I want to create an object for only one constructor. Okay. For example, if I'm creating an object for aobj equal to new a. Okay. This is my object. So after creating object, I want to, but my output should be like this. All the three constructor has to get invoked. Is there anything that I can do, or is there any change that I can make in this program? Any idea? Got my question. So previously I have created three objects, guys. Three objects. So it is obvious that it is very much appropriate that for each and every object the respective constructor is getting called. Constructor overloading. But now I will create object only once. So I am creating object for the no parameterized constructor. So the output is going to be what? No. But I want to execute this as well as this. What can I do? You don't know? So watch this. Okay. Now see, now observe this. This process is called as constructor overloading. So let me copy this and paste it here. This is the typical example of constructor overloading. Three objects are created. For each and every object creation, the respective constructor is getting called. Right? Now what I am going to do a little modification. Okay. So I am saying that I will create only one constructor. I am very much stubborn to create constructor, to create object only once. I am very much stubborn. But I need to execute all the three logics inside the constructor. How can we do? Very simple. So I am calling which constructor? No parameterized constructor. So inside this constructor, I can give a call, this call, and this is going to call the int argument constructor, right? This is going to call what? The int argument constructor. And inside this, I will give another this call. It is going to call what? What it is going to call? The double argument constructor. Don't you think I will invoke all the three constructors? Yes, no? Can you guess the output now? Can you guess the output? Or do we get any error? Do we get error or we will get any output? Using this keyword, we cannot call other constructors. What about others? Okay, let me execute this, guys. I think we have discussed about this. Compilation is successful. So don't we think that all the constructors are called double arg, int arg, no arg? We have discussed these things yesterday. You are not supposed to get any confusion here. These things are discussed yesterday, day before yesterday. I was telling you about this, especially this constructor call. We have discussed about this constructor call for three occasions or three classes. I will explain you. Why error, Krishna Prasad? We got the output, no? We get output. Why you people are not thinking? To think better, no? Okay, let us trace this. Let us trace this. Paint screen. Okay. Let me separate this main method. Okay, now you see I am creating object for which class? Object is created for a constructor. Yes or no? Object is created for a constructor. So the main thread will be created. Main thread will get access to the main method. The first instruction is object is being created for a constructor. It means a constructor, the no parameters constructor is being called, right? In our example, the control will be transferred to the no parameterized constructor. Yes or no? From here, the control will jump to the no parameterized constructor, a constructor, right? So the first instruction says this constructor call. Okay, whenever you see this, replace this keyword with the class name a, right, followed by the value 10. Okay, now this control, we are giving the information or giving an instruction to this controller, asking it to check for the constructor that is accepting the integer as an argument. Okay, the control will be jumped from or transferred from here to the exact specific location, right? This call. Okay, now the value 10, this value 10 will be taken by this a. Okay, and again it will try to execute the instructions inside this constructor. Again there is another this call. Okay, so whenever you find that this call, replace this with the current class name. Okay, a, which is accepting the float as an argument, double as an argument, 10.34. Now we are giving an instruction to the controller to identify a constructor that is accepting double as an argument. Okay, control will be transferred here. Okay, this value is going to be given to B. Okay, and the first instruction is what? Double arg will be displayed in the console. Arg. Right, after this the control will be transferred back to the same location where it was previously sent. From here it will jump back to here. Integer arg is going to be the int arg. Okay, after this the control has to go back to the place where it was previously called, no arg. Okay, no arg will be displayed in the console. After this, to the place where it was sent, where it was invoked. It was invoked from here. So after this, no instructions. So the control will come out of the main method. The thread will be destroyed. Double arg, int arg, no arg. Do you agree with me, everyone? Good, Chaitanya. Madhu. Madhu, Darshini, everyone. Shweta. Shweta is not responding. Teja, not responding. Jyoti, yes. Jyoti, okay. So now you see. Okay. Now you just see this same program. See, look at the previous program. In the previous program, we had to create 3 different constructors with the exact matching argument so that all the values is being displayed in the console. But in this case, I'm creating object only once. Don't you think so? Only one object is getting created. Upon this object, I'm able to call all the constructors that is placed inside the class A. Yes or no? This process is called as what? Constructor chaining. So we have discussed about constructor overloading. Constructor overloading is very simple, very straightforward explanation. Constructors with the same name but different parameters, we call it as We call this process constructor overloading. Now it's called as what? This process is called, the process that we have just discussed is called as what? Constructor chaining. Okay, making sense, everyone? Okay, so by definition, if I want to express this in theory, the theory is very simple. It is like a constructor chaining in Java. It's a sequence of invocations or constructor calls. Okay, sequence of invocations or constructor calls by just creating one object, and all the constructors will get executed upon this object, right? So that is what we have done, right? So object has been created only once. By with this object we are able to call the constructors, all the constructors in the class, right? Second observation is the constructor, CONSTRU constructor is called, I mean not this, one of any constructor. A constructor is called from another constructor, and a constructor is called from another constructor in the same class. Same class using this constructor call is called as constructor. Okay, now this we understood the importance of this constructor call. Yesterday we have just discussed about the definition of this constructor call. Now the usage we got to know. It is used to achieve the constructor chaining, yes or no, right? So and again, so if this is one example, I can chain constructor between two different classes. So now we are dealing with only one class. Later if I want to create another class, for example if I have a class B, okay, inside this class B I can take a B constructor here. Now I can take a B constructor and I can give a statement something like System.out.println. Okay, now B class, any meaningful name I am giving. Okay, don't worry about this thing. Okay, this is class B and this is class A. Now my requirement is I want to continue the chaining process, continue the constructor chaining process, but I do not want to create object for class B. I do not want to create object for class B, but still I want to invoke this constructor, invoke this B class constructor. What does I really mean is, the object is created for class A. It means all the constructors, okay, a constructor chaining has been formed because of this constructor calls. No doubts about it. But now in this example, I also want to invoke this constructor that is placed inside the class B. How I can achieve this? Here I can give an instruction like super, right? Now can you give me the output of this? Super, and again. So if I am giving super extends B, I am creating a relationship between class A and class B. A chain is formed, a child and parent-child relationship has been created. Okay, so just by placing this super constructor call, don't you think that all the constructors inside the class A as well as all the constructors inside, in this case only one constructor is there. Do you think that all the constructor will get executed only upon one constructor call? Yes, no? Can you give me the output? Good Chaitanya. You got my question, I think. Can you guess the output for this code? Make it fast, make it fast. Very simple, copy the same answer and you need to do one more change, that's it. Start from the main method, you will get, you want answers from everyone. For you, I am keeping it here. Okay. I think it is visible now. It is visible, I think. Come on, come on. Okay, good, Prasad. Do you agree with Krishna Prasad? Good, Chaitanya. Okay, let us run this code, okay? Thank you for your answers. If I run this code, P class, double org, int org, no org. Is the same answer which that you got? B class, double org, int org, no org. B class, good everyone. So now see, now also we are performing the constructor chaining, but this time we are able to call all the constructors from all the classes just by creating object for only one class. Right? You are able to pull the constructor of a different class. Right? By which keyword? I mean, this could be achieved by which keyword? Super keyword. Okay, this is also another way of describing about what constructor chaining. So one way is a constructor is a call from another constructor in the same class using this keyword. Okay, I can also say a constructor is called from another constructor in a different class using super constructor call. Is also called as constructor chaining. Okay. Now I can also say that we can achieve constructor chaining with the following mechanisms. Right? The first mechanism is within the class. To do that within the class, we use this keyword. Between two other classes, between two different classes, to achieve that we use super keyword. Now you got to know the exact, this is not the keyword, till here it is keyword, and if you want to include this also, you call it as what? Constructor call. Keyword along with this parenthesis. Now you got to know this constructor call and the super constructor call, why it is used. Whenever you get this question, you should say that you can use this constructor call, the super constructor call, to achieve constructor chaining. A very straightforward answer. To achieve what? To achieve constructor chaining. Now we got a better understanding about what is constructor chaining, what is constructor overloading. Yes or no? Example. Are you getting this, everyone? Good, everyone. Don't ever mind that I'm not hitting any like. I'm missing your messages. Okay, don't mind now. Okay, and one important thing you need to notice is, for example, so let us go back to this problem. Okay, this is the problem, not this one. This one. Okay, so you must see, whenever you are trying to do the constructor chaining by using this constructor call, you should always take into the note, at least you should leave one constructor. Okay, you cannot use this constructor call for all the constructor. At least you should leave one constructor. If you're not leaving at least one constructor, for example, if I'm adding like this is also this constructor call. Yes or no? This is all this kind. When you do this, what will be the output now? What will be the output? See, the theory says, please try to ensure that at least one constructor should be left out with this constructor call. You cannot use this constructor call for all the constructor. At least one constructor should be avoided. Why it should be avoided? Now we will see. Now can you tell me the answer for this? Everyone? Everyone, recursive, good, super Chaitanya. Recursive call, recursive. If you don't leave, okay, recursive. The specific answer is recursive. Good. Recursive call. What happens here? What is happening here exactly? You see, if you look back the code, okay, now see, something is going to happen. We don't find it, but this is the takeaway that I am giving, I'm telling you. This is the code, right? Okay, now you see, guys. Okay, so a constructor is being called. Okay, from here the control will jump to where? Obviously from here, so the control will be jumping to a constructor. So from here again, this constructor, I mean the constructor that is accepting integer as an argument. From here the constructor that is accepting double as an argument. Okay, again from here, if you see is, again it is going to take the control to the this. Okay, again from here this, again from here this, again from here this. It will be recursive. It is going to be an infinitely recursive, right? It's going to be an infinitely recursive, right? Why it is happening? So we are again, so the loop is, the infinite loop is getting completed. Right? And if you, to avoid this, we need to ensure that at least one constructor is left out with this keyword. If you do that, okay, problem is solved. You are just breaking the chain of being recursive. Instead of this, you can either leave it blank. If you leave it blank, by default it will be considered as super, or you can you put the super constructor call by yourself, no issues. Either way it will work. Okay, by this the control will be transferred to the object class, then the it will be complete, not infinite, right? Making sense? Let me run this. Error, recursive constructor invocation, right? So now you understood what is constructor overloading, what is constructor chaining, and what is recursive invocation call. We know this recursive invocation call already, but we are trying to understand the specific reason why it needs to be avoided. Okay, recursive invocation, yeah, right? Likewise, another way of avoiding this is, see, and again a recursive invocation call can also happen when you do this. For example, if the constructor is no argument constructor, and if you use this constructor call, that is also no argument this again this is going to be recursive. Okay, the theory says then the constructor as well as this call is going to accept it is going to be similar. When they are similar, again there is a recursive invocation. Don't you think so? So this is similar to this. Okay, as soon as the control encounters this instruction, it will go back here, again come inside, recursive call, right? So they say do not use this constructor call which is same as the constructor parameter. Okay, so let me put this here. Okay, don't you think so? What I am saying is very simple. So this is no parameterized constructor, right? no parameterized constructor. Okay, and you cannot have this constructor call which is also no parameterized. You cannot do this. And also this is a constructor that is accepting integer as an argument. This is also a construct. This is also this constructor call that is accepting integer value as an argument. You cannot do this. Both cannot be same. If you do that, recursive call. Why recursive call? Try to understand the flow. From where the control will come here. Okay, it is calling this call. Again, this means same constructor is being looped infinitely, right? Likewise, same thing, infinite loop. Making sense, everyone? Yes, no? You're getting this, I think, huh? Recursive call. What is recursive call? Okay. So this is the observation that you need to make whenever a program is given. If you find this, we notify whenever this is noticed, you can directly say that this is going to be a recursive invocation. Okay, let me run this. So see, there are two places, two constructor call that is being identified as the recursive constructor invocation. These are the two places, right? So now today we are good with the constructor overloading, constructor chaining, and the recursive constructor call. And again, in the constructor chaining, the purpose of this constructor call and the purpose of super constructor call. And again, there is a thumb theory that says rules. When you talk about rules, specifically rules, the rules are very important in any programming language, because by understanding the rules, you will ensure that you are not making any syntactical mistakes. So an expression that uses this constructor call must be first line of the same rules, but in the different context. Okay, first line of this UINSTRE constructor. Likewise, and the expression that uses super constructor call must also be the first line. You can use either one. So this is the rule number one, and really the order is not really a big deal. The order does not matter in constructor chaining. Okay, you can, the purpose of constructor chaining is what? Why we require constructor chaining? To invoke all the constructors by just getting an object for one constructor. If that is the case, the order itself is not a big deal. Yes or no? Right? And the third rule says, please ensure that there must be at least one constructor what that constructor needs to do. That does not use this constructor call, and when this rule is violated, when you violate this rule, what happens? You get what you get. You get recursive constructor invocation error. Don't you think so? This is what the error that we got. This is one case that needs to be observed. The second case. Okay, the question is, this case is okay, looking good. Okay, now the next question is, can I use super for all the constructors? Will I get any problem if I use super for all the constructors? Is there any chance for me? I'm using super here. I'm also using super here. Do you think that this is going to be recursive invocation call? What is the answer? What is the output now? Answer me. I hope you got my question. For this constructor call, we are getting a kind of error that says recursive constructor invocation. Is it similar for the super constructor call? No. It is, answer is no. It will never happen because super is something that we are dependent upon the super class. The constructor chain will be broken with respect to each constructors. Okay, if I run this code, what is the output now? Now tell me the output. Tell me the output, guys. No arg is the output. Correct. Only one constructor call is specified here. Okay, this is the constructor call, and again that's a super call. Super call means the object class. Nothing will be there in the object class constructor. Control will come back, and this gets executed. This becomes independent. That looping, the looping will be broken. There is no possibility for the infinite loop. No arg is the output. Okay, I can also say this, right? Please ensure that if the rule is violated, you get recursion. But the same case is not with super constructor call. So you can use super call for all the constructors. So that is the idea here. That is the understanding here. Constructor call. Second is, please ensure that there must not be a this constructor call same as the current constructor. What does it mean? If you have no argument constructor, you cannot have no argument this call. If you have int argument constructor, you cannot place an int argument this call. Okay, when you do so, what happens? You are provoking, it's a kind of invoking the recursive construction invocation. We have a constructor that is accepting double as a parameter. You cannot have the double constructor call. Making sense, everyone? These are the rules. This is how the rules are defined. Yes, no. Shall we proceed with the problem that we have I have gave yesterday? Was given yesterday. Okay. Okay, the problem says, okay, you have given, most of you have given some answers. Okay. So let me take a new paint screen. People stay focused here, and if you missed any of the constructor topics, all those doubts will be cleared here. Stay focused. Okay, let me take a main method separately. Okay, this is a very big program, so I'm splitting this program into, okay. Okay, I have two classes, guys. I have two classes. One is class B and the second one is class A. Okay. Class B and the class A. So let me take this main method separately so that we can have a better observation. Okay. 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 We have how many classes here? We have two classes. One is class A, second one is class B. Okay. And I have a main method. Okay. So now since there is a relationship between class A and class B, so there is a parent-child relationship. Don't you think so? One is a child class. The second one is the parent class. Okay. Why parent class? We have used what? The extends keyword. Whenever the extends keyword used, okay, an inheritance relationship is getting created between class A. Okay, class A is going to be represented as a child class because it is before the extends keyword, and the class B will be the parent class or the super class because it is after the extends keyword. Okay, so this is child and this is parent. So we got to know. Now an object has been created, okay, with a new keyword. So when I say new keyword, definitely a memory creation, memory allocation in the memory. Okay, just imagine that this is the memory. Let me take a big memory. This is the memory, and for this memory, the reference variable is obj2. This is a reference variable. Of course, usually reference value will be assigned here, but for our understanding, I am taking it as a reference value, obj2. Address is obj2. Now we are invoking or we are calling a constructor that is accepting what a value is being passed. 100 is passed. Okay, when I pass 100, when we pass 100, the respective constructor will be called, right? So this is 100, which is representing the integer data type, right? So this constructor gets identified. Don't you think so? Same constructor. So don't you think that this constructor is going to get identified, right? So the control will be transferred to the specific constructor, and again from here there is another constructor call. From here there is another constructor call. Before even calling this constructor, what exactly is happening here, that we need to understand. Okay, so the control will be pointing here now. Okay, along with this controller, okay, let me start from the beginning. It was sent from here to here, transferred from this location, this specific location to here. Okay, while transferring the call, while the call is being transported, the value 100 will also be sent because we are passing the value 100, right? Okay, the value 100 will also be transported or will also be sent. Okay, this, so this 100 will be stored in the a variable. Okay, and again super constructor call is doing what? Is going to carry this variable, duplication of this carry is going to carry this variable to the super class integer argument, right? Super means what? I have just said, whenever you see the super keyword, place the replace the super keyword with the respective class. What is the super class here? B, right? It is just like B by the value is 100 itself. Okay. In the class B, it is going to identify the exact constructor that is accepting the value what? 100 integer. So this is the exact constructor. Okay, so let me give some identification. So this call is completed. From here the control is control has traveled till here. Okay, now this 100 will be stored inside this b variable. Upon after this, okay, there is another constructor called this constructor call. This means we need to remove this. Okay, this means current class. What is the current class? B class. Replace this keyword with b, right? It will identify the exact b constructor. From here the control will be what? From here the control will be transported or transferred to this constructor, exact constructor. Okay. Okay, so now let me mark an identification here. So this is also completed. Okay. Again, in this inside this, what is being defined here? Value 300 should be assigned to the variable C. Variable 300 value 300 has to be assigned to the variable C. Okay. Which variable? Instance variable. Whenever you see this keyword, the current class instance variable. This dot C means in the current class, the instant variable is what? C is there. Okay. In the object, in the memory allocation, okay, C first initially C is going to get a default value 0. This default value will be replaced with the value 300 here. Okay, for this specific object, for this obj2. Okay, after this call, after completing this, it has to go back to this place, right? What we are doing here, this dot b plus 100. What is it? B plus 100. What is the value of b here? Already 100 is there. 100 plus 100 is what? 200. Okay, 100 plus 100 is going to be what? 200. Okay, the value we are saying that assign this value 200 to this dot b. So it means b, already the value of b is 100. Why 100? We got 100 here plus. So the evaluation part, we have another 100. So 100 plus 100 becomes 200. Okay, we are trying to assign this 200 value to the variable b, which is in the current class. Okay, it is in the b class. Okay, so now the variable b will get what? 200. So initially b is going to be 0 default value. Then now we are reassigning 200. Okay, 200 has been assigned to b. Okay, now the control will be transferred back to the place which was called previously. From here it will go back here. Okay, now this dot a equal to a is 100. We are assigning this 100 to the a itself. 100 is getting assigned to the a. Which class a? The variable a that is present in the this class. This is the current class, a class. Okay, now a is getting 100. The value a is going to be 0 in the beginning, and after the reassignation it is going to be 100. So we got values of a 100, b 200, and 300. Okay, the control will be transferred to the place it was called previously, to this location. Okay, the next instruction is we are trying to display obj2, right? obj2. So obj2, I have already said you very clearly. So whenever we are trying to print the reference variable of an object, internally what will happen? Internally toString method will be called. Okay, it is similar to obj2 dot toString. Okay, now the main thread will search for the toString method inside the current class. toString method inside the current class, inside the class A, because main method is placed inside the class A. Okay, toString method will be identified inside the class A. Okay, it has identified toString method. We are trying to return a value with the help of concatenation. Okay, this is going to return, this method is going to return the value A, which is 100. Okay, space value b, which is 200, space value c, which is 300. Okay, this is, since it is a return call, the control will carry this. Okay, this value will be given to this System.out.println, and you get this values displayed in the console. Okay, so let me run this. Let us see. I hope I will not get any errors here. Compilation is successful. 100, 200, 300. Have you got the same answers? Everyone? Are you getting this? Yes, no? Everyone? You want answers from everyone? Darshini, Krishna Prasad, Samyukta, Teja, Sweta, Jyoti, yes, Jyoti, and Madhu. Same answers you got? Is there any confusion in this? Okay, now if you look at the tracing part may create little confusion, but the idea here is start from the main method, start from the first instruction in the main method, okay, and keep doing the constructor chaining. Don't you think that we are doing the constructor chaining here? From here, since the constructors are chained with the help of super constructor call and this constructor call, don't you think that there is a constructor chaining here? Object is created only once and we are passing only one value. With this one value, we are able to assign two other values. So these two other values are able to be assigned with the help of constructor chaining. Yes or no? The real-time application, there are less chances that you would be like doing all this. There are less chances because you use the solid principles. Okay, so there will be some restrictions. You don't use this in the real-time application, but you need to understand how the control is getting transferred from one constructor to another constructor with the help of constructor chaining. First thing. Second thing is, whenever you're passing one value, you're just passing only one value, but you're able to initialize the values for the remaining two objects. When remaining two variables, B and C. Second observation. Okay, and you're also able to see what constructor overloading. You are also able to see what constructor overloading. Where you are able to see constructor overloading. See, there is one constructor with which is accepting integer argument with the same name, another constructor with the same name. So constructor overloading concept is achieved. At the same time, the constructor chaining is also achieved. Secondly, and we are able to, with the help of constructor chaining, we are able to successfully use the super keyword, super constructor call, this constructor call, and we are able to use this keyword, right? And we are also able to see the specific toString method here. Okay. Okay. Now let me do the small change. Don't get confused. Very simple change. Okay. Now if I remove this toString method, okay, I remove this toString method. Can you guess the output now? So I have shared the code here. So I have removed the toString method in the class A, but there is a toString method in the class B. What is the output now? So the code has been shared to you. Okay, I have just removed the toString method that was placed inside the class A. Okay, now the toString method is placed in this is the concept of toString method. Whenever the toString method is removed in the current class, the parent class toString method will be called. In the parent class toString method, the values are going to be what? B and C. Only B and C values will be displayed in the console. Don't you think so? Good, Chaitanya. Good, Krishna Prasad. Okay, so let us execute this. Okay, we cannot come to the conclusion just like that. So we need a proof, right? So 200, 300. Why 200, 300? The toString method will be called. The toString method is not available in the current class. So obviously, by using the extend keyword, the control will be transferred to the super class. In the super class, there is a toString method. So do you think that this toString method is returning values of B and C, which means the value of B is what? Already we have 200 stored in the value B, 300 is assigned in the value, in the variable C. 200, 300 will be displayed in the console. Now, if I remove this toString method also, what is the output? Think better and tell me, guys. This is something, need to put some efforts to understand this. Okay, if you're not putting any efforts, definitely it look very difficult to to trace the output. I have removed the toString method from the class A as well as in the class B. Okay. Now what will be the output? Let me share the code to you. Think better and tell me. Chaitanya says blank. Do you agree with Chaitanya? Everyone knows this, but the problem here is I don't think you people are revising. I'm sorry to say this. Everyone knows this. We have discussed about this toString method for almost 3 to 4 classes, especially in the object creation process. I want answers from you. Chaitanya has answered something black. What about others? Krishna Prasad, Samyukta, Teja, Madhu, Jyoti and Jyoti, Sweta, Darshini. I'm not asking Venkatesh because he is very new to this class. Say something guys, at least are you trying or not? So because of this, the respective toString method will be called. Just try to do the tracing. ToString method is not here. Okay, the control will jump to the parent class toString method. Here it is not here. The control will be jump to the object class because every class is extended to the object class. What is the logic that is placed in the object class? You need to answer that. Very simple no. Darshini says no output. Empty. No. I am looking for the specific answer. I am not sure who is going to give the correct answer. If you are giving the correct answer, definitely I will be very happy today. Anyone is answering me correctly. Reference value. So you forgotten that during the object creation process, I explained you very clearly that the toString method is going to do what? We'll find the hash code. From the hash code hexadecimal value. From the hexadecimal value, the respective class name will be what? Prefixed, right? Right? Compilation is successful. See reference value guys, why you are forgetting this? I said right, object creation process and customize a toString method. Okay, if you do not want to display the reference value, we are customizing it in such a way that the output is going to be very meaningful. Okay, so here I have removed my own toString method. What does it mean? The object class toString method is going to get displayed in the console, which is nothing but the reference value. Yes or no? You agree with this? People who have said no output. Darshini, Krishna Prasad. Do you agree with this reference value? So if you revise this at least for 20 minutes a day, you will not forget these concepts. Okay, this concept, this reference value concept is very important to understand the Java inheritance topics and polymorphism topics. Okay, without this knowledge, if you jump into the future topics, it will not make any sense. Okay, it will not make any sense. And just practice 20 minutes a day, that will be fine.